Hello there. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Bay. And I'm getting a wall full of comics here. They just keep building up. They need put in a box because this is never the way to store your books. And even though they're nothing like super valuable, it is pretty much everything I have acquired in the last year or so, just kind of piled up on a wall. A lot of this stuff, this 80s Marvel, this was stuff I picked up from a guy here in town. He was selling out his stuff right before he got married. That is what it is. Thanks, Thomas. Hope that's going well. But no, I was just like, man, look at all these books here that need to be put in a box. Whole bunch of your, what is this, the Copper Age? Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, what have I got this last year? What have I located? And it's been a lot. I guess this is kind of a recap because it's that and I'm not usually in front of the camera. I don't bag anything anymore. And honestly, I would like to move all to short boxes. I still have a few long boxes, but short boxes are so much easier to store and so much easier to move around. Especially if your back is getting a little bit old like mine. Looks like oops. So one thing I picked up from this guy was a whole bunch of really cheap lots of Marvel stuff. We could run a Thunderstrike here, if you're into Thunderstrike. No, I think this is like, it's an underappreciated era of Marvel, or DC for that matter. It's that late 80s, early 90s, copper to modern, what do they call it? It's a cool Juggernaut cover. So all of these lots, I think I was buying like 50 books a piece, like for 20 bucks. He was giving me lots, just pulling out big stacks. It'd be like 50 issues of this for 20 bucks, and who can pass on that? You don't find deals like that anymore. That's a great Beta Ray Bill cover. That's a less cool Night Thrasher cover. Power Pack had some decent covers. Not gonna lie. Oh, but so did Guardians. I love the old Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. Anyway, got to clear some room off the shelf because got to set up a different display. Things get stale. I didn't realize I had so many issues of Thor. I must have bought a lot of Thor from this guy. That's a pretty good Thor cover. Versus Ulik. A friend before I moved. Maybe it was before he moved. Back when I lived in Nebraska. He bought me an Ulik the Troll figure. And I don't know. I haven't had a lot of people give me figures as gifts. So that was cool. That's one I still keep. I have a soft spot for Ulik the Troll just because my buddy bought me that. You'd think somebody with as many figures as I've been known to have, maybe more people would have bought me some as gifts, but actually no, very few. Even growing up, people didn't buy you Transformers or anything like that as gifts. I think a few years I got some Ninja Turtle figures, but that was about it. So I don't bag anymore, and I know I've told you guys that before, but I don't miss it. Once you go back to feeling an issue this way, like I can't explain it. Modern comics don't feel the same way, but stuff in the 80s, 90s, stuff that's on newsprint, that's still, man, it just feels like nothing else. Like it feels like I want to read this. I got to read this right now. I got to flip through it. It's hard for me to right now resist flipping through these. That's cool. Actually, that's darn cool too. I forget I have some of these. It gets bought, acquired, sits on your shelf, and probably like everybody else, you don't always do everything with it. Horn. Cerebus was a good comic. I don't remember it having very good covers. Do you? I mean, it's kind of bland. Guardians. This was one of my first like series that I ever tracked down. I don't have it anymore, and right now it's too expensive. There's no way to track it all down, but there's some good stuff in there. New Warriors. New Warriors is another one of them series that was just really good that I love to track down. Because they were contained, you could get like the whole thing. So New Warriors ran like 75 issues, and a lot of good guest stars. You could pick up the whole run. Power Pack, I think, ran 60 issues. Another series you could get the whole run really cheap at one point, and a lot of good guest stars. Dazzler was another series, 1 through 50. Quarter bins galore. You could pull those things out all day long. Same way with Power Pack. They were quarter bin stuff. Silver Surfers, you could find some, but I was never quite as into those because they always seemed kind of long-winded. But I think Guardians was 65 issues. You can get the whole set. And then, of course, you know, you guys know I love Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight was 130 issues that you could totally find in most quarter bins back in the day. And I can't believe... I think back, and I think back of quarter bins, and I'm like, wow, that was not that long ago. But to get comics for a quarter, I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss that. I don't think that's coming back. Kind of like comic book stores don't seem to be coming back either. Doppelgangers, that's pretty cool. I like these. They kind of blur together when you like look at them in your brain, but you just pick out one issue at a time, because these are always like, oh, it's big bundles of stuff. When you just look at one issue, you're like, that is a lot of work to win into that cover. That looks really nice. That one's kind of boring. Also, probably couldn't have that one sold today. That guy getting hanged on the front. Yeah, that's not going to fly. Phoenix. When he was a dude. Taserface? Or Overkill? I can't remember that guy. Overkill is what they called him on that, but he was known as Taserface. This was always Guardians to me. Not Star-Lord. I never got that. I liked the year 3000. Marvel Comics. Fall of the Hulks. Somehow that's in here. The whole bunch of 80s and 90s stuff. Warning, the contents of this issue may be considered thought-provoking. I don't know. I bet I know what thoughts they're having. Death in the Family. I don't remember him being Christmas colored. I thought he was more like black and red. New Warriors. That's a good color for that cover. Very good cover. Oh, that's a cool cover. Like, anytime you got the Juggernaut on the cover, my interest is piqued. The guy ruled. I mean, I guess he still does. Or have they nerfed him totally? I don't know. I haven't read any modern comics for a long time. At least nothing that had Juggernaut in it. The sand is textured. I know you can't really tell that, but you can feel it. It's weird. New Warriors. Fury. The Fury of Marvel Boy. I've seen this cover a lot. This was one of those that I think they made more of than normal. Later issues of New Warriors, 65. Yeah, we're getting close to the end of New Warriors. There's about 10 issues left. Year. New Warriors. One Shall Surely Die. I don't know where they got that. One Shall Surely Die. There's the first issue of Guardians I ever owned. That right there. Thought that was cool. Issue 17. That's where I hopped on. I like that cover too. That's a good cover. There was just a life and a vibrance to some of these that you just don't see in comics anymore. That's a good issue. Fight for the Shield, or the Race for the Shield. Peak Guardians of the Galaxy. He quits. Actually, I don't think he does. I think it's like a granddaughter of Wolverine, Rancor, something like that. Of course, you've always got that wizard kid in there at some point. And Badoon. They had the best aliens. They had Badoon and they had Snark. I guess the Snark was more in Power Pack. They're all green aliens with hilarious names. Yellow Jacket. Can we keep her? Now I always call this the typo negative color. Because if you've ever seen the typo negative like metal album, it's like two chicks making out like this. It looks just like this. New Warriors number 44, Namorita. It's a cool cover. Cooler than that cover. Nomad versus Firelord. I must have got like at least one lot of New Warriors from this guy. And it was cool because like he just sold, they were just packed in a box that held 50, and it just had like the name of the comic on it. And $20, and I bought a lot of them. I probably ended up buying a whole long box from him just by doing that. For, I mean, not like $80, $100, something like that. The later issue of New Warriors. Nova on his own was never quite as cool, I don't think. Scarlet Spider. I love the Scarlet Spider. He was actually pretty neat. I love the whole sleeveless hoodie outfit thing. New Warriors. Lots of needles to the face. That's never a good thing. New Warriors. Yeah, and if you notice, these are all, they're just a mess. They're all mixed up in here. I need to go through and probably sort them, but it's also kind of fun having them mixed. If you guys ever saw my old action figure videos, you know that I don't really segregate my figures. Now, I do compulsively generally segregate my comics. But this stack has remained mixed, and it's kind of fun because every time I pull through it, I'm surprised by what's in there and pleasantly surprised by what I got. And, I mean, when you try to rebuild a little bit of a collection, especially after you've had so many, it's kind of fun to be pleasantly surprised by what you already have. So if you followed the channel for a while, you know I used to have like 150 long boxes, something like that. And I bought like 2 big private collections and the inventory of a store and a storage unit and stuff. And I had, I mean, so many comics that I had one whole room in my house literally filled with comics, and just couldn't function with it. Sold off big chunks of it, the bulk stuff, and then shoot, even sold. It's an Alf. I think it's even a Christmas Alf. No, it's just a holiday Alf. November. But yeah, ended up selling off the bulk stuff, the extra stuff. Then I started selling off the important stuff. During hard times, I had to sell off my X-Men, Uncanny X-Men collection, my Avengers collection. I had a long box of Spawn that I ended up selling for way too little. But yeah, you think about that stuff and it will eat you up if you like sit there and think about all the comics that you used to have that you got rid of. Ditto with action figures. It'll just drive you crazy. Although I'd say it's a little easier to remember what action figures I had than what comics I had. One lone issue of Gambit #2. I always thought he looked weird without his jacket on. His little outfit sleeves were kind of odd. X Factor. Very famous cover of Excalibur. Very not famous cover of X-Force. An extremely famous cover of X-Force. Another first issue. I think I did a video just on first issues one time. Darkhawk. Isn't that the one everybody was like joking about how valuable it would be? Nova. Enter Blacksmith. I remember this character because they basically ripped him off for Star Wars. He had big, like, bulbous, boob-shaped eyes with pupils and stuff. I think this is Extreme, the lamest of all 90s characters. Power Pack and Typhoid Mary. Always a good matchup there, I'm sure. This horse dude bothers me. Always has. They got a Fortnite skin that kind of looks like that, and it's like the most cursed skin in the whole game. X Factor Legion Quest. That guy was a tool. I can't believe he got popular after all that. Like, they got his own TV series or something. Legion. Of all the issues of 2099, this one they make the most of for some reason. It wasn't that important. I hated this era. Like, just look at it. It looks like pink vomit all over it. My Thrasher. About to be killed by the Hulk. Iron Man with the broken... That's actually a really good Iron Man cover. I like that. I don't remember what Clandestine was, but it's there. Darkhawk. Maybe it was the Darkhawk Chrome covers. Because I had several of them, and my neighbor bought a couple from me just so he could make jokes about them. One of them will die. At least they didn't say one of them will surely die. Because going back to that, where do we get that? And one shall surely die. Like, that's a quote from something, I'm sure, that they just thought sounded really good, so they put it on everything. La Lunatica. If you remember right, she actually got a figure. Well, that was there. I know what you're going to say. Well, that wouldn't happen if you bagged it. Night Thrasher. 4 Control. Guardians. And a good Guardians cover. So all of these weren't bagged when I got them. And they were all a little on the rougher side when I did. What is in this stack? X-Men Unlimited. Alpha Flight from the second series, I think. Nobody cared about. It's a nice Extreme X-Men cover. It's newer than I bought. I didn't buy stuff that's new. Unfamiliar with that one, but I think these came up in a lot of stuff I bought recently. Picked up a couple of lots on eBay. Really cheap. Mostly just because I wanted something to freshen up the collection a bit. Unlimited. X-Men Unlimited was actually had some really good covers. And Extreme X-Men, I have said many times, has the best uniforms for everybody. Like, I don't know what went on there or why it's so good, but it was just good. First Contact, I don't know who that is. It's almost like Legion. Inferno, anything you can do with magic like that, it's pretty cool. Whatever. These have gone through, I think I picked up pretty recent. Like I said, they just land on the shelf and then they need to get filed. Beastman. Death of Wolverine. Another Inferno. I vaguely remember seeing this on the shelves when there was still places that I could see comics on the shelves. So I am so old that I remember comics at grocery stores and convenience stores. And that was a golden age many, many years ago. Now it seems like even when I go to comic book stores, I'm lucky to see comics on the shelf. You'd be surprised how many comic book stores don't even have like back issue bins anymore. It's just like a handful of new issues that you can only get if you pre-ordered them. And like, there's just almost nothing there. It's all Funko Pops and gaming crap. And that just makes me sad. The other sad part is going to a comic book store that is super, super stocked. Like, they have tons and tons of back issues. And every single back issue will be $4. I'm like, who's going to buy that? I'm going to pay $4 for, like, all these power packs and stuff like that I went through. They're great books. I love owning them, but they're not worth shelling out $4 a piece for. They're worth cover or less. I would love to find them in a quarter bin. I would probably not even complain if I was finding them in a $1 bin. But a lot of places don't even do those anymore. Bishop with white man hair. Robot lady. Always a good thing. Anyway. I don't remember this Magneto series. I suppose it's a beautiful Saturday morning. No, this is Sunday morning. And I should probably think about getting dressed, getting ready for church. I have a few responsibilities there. Joss Whedon stuff. Ooh, Astonishing X-Men. I should probably be doing that, and you guys have probably watched me put comics in a box long enough. But if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. And hope that it wasn't too painful to spend, 25 minutes with me on a Sunday morning. Sometimes we do pretty mundane stuff with our comics, but isn't that what you enjoy about them the most? It's supposed to be mundane. It's supposed to be comforting. If your collection ever becomes something that isn't, probably should try a different collection. Anyway, thanks for watching. I got some more shelf to clear, but I got to get going. So thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe. Have a good day. Have fun collecting. That's my story.